Title: The Day the Sky Wept Blood, Episode 2, The Curse of the Broken Crown. They thought the fall of Owu would end the war, that once the mighty city burned, peace would return to the land. But they were wrong, because peace built on ashes never lasts. And when the crown of Owu shattered, it unleashed a curse that would haunt kingdoms for generations. The gods were silent, but the sky was not. It wept blood once again. The morning after, when dawn broke over Owu, the air was heavy with the smell of smoke and sorrow. The city that once glowed with bronze and gold now lay in ruin. Bodies of warriors and children alike littered the streets. The grand palace, once home to Oba Akinjobi, was reduced to a skeleton of charred wood and broken ivory. The conquerors, armies from Ijebu, Ife, Egba, and their allies, marched to the silent city, their armor glinting in the dying sun. They had won, but victory fell hollow. Women with tear-streaked faces were dragged away as slaves. Elders who refused to bow were cut down where they stood. The drums of Owu, once the heartbeat of a proud kingdom, were silent. Only the wind moved, whispering through the ruins as if mourning the dead. Among the ashes, a crown lay shattered. Its gold melted into the earth, its jewels scattered like fallen stars. That crown had once been the pride of Owu, the symbol of their divine right to rule. Now, it was nothing more than a relic of arrogance, the oath of the widows. As night fell, the women of Owu gathered at the edge of the ruined palace. Among them stood Errol Owu, the Oba's widow, her royal beads blackened by smoke. She raised her hands to the sky, trembling with grief and rage. Around her, the other women knelt, mothers, sisters, daughters, all that remained of a kingdom once feared. And together, beneath the blood-red moon, they spoke an oath that would echo through time. Their tears fell to ground, mixing with the blood that had soaked the soil. And as their voices faded, thunder rolled across the sky. The wind changed direction. The curse had begun. The spoils of war. Weeks later, the allied warriors returned to their land with plunder from Owu, bronze sculptures, gold ornaments, slaves, and captured maidens. They sang songs of triumph, boasting of how Owu's arrogance had met divine justice. But their celebrations were short-lived. In Ijebu, the royal granaries were mysteriously consumed by fire. In Ife, the sacred river turned cloudy and red. In Abeokuta, warriors who took Owu women, as wives began to die in their sleep, choking on nothing but air. At first, the elders dismissed it as coincidence. But when the diviners cast their cowries, the truth came forth. Panic spread. Families began to whisper that the spoils from Owu were cursed. Many buried their treasures in the forest or threw them into rivers. But no one could bury guilt, and guilt does not drown. The red rain. Years passed, yet the shadow of Owu lingered. Farmers planted yam and maize, but strange red mold devoured their crops. Children fell ill, their dreams haunted by crying spirits. The sky grew darker each season, as if mourning something the living could not name. Then one night, the sky cracked open. Thunder roared like drums of war. Lightning painted the heavens red. And when the rain began to fall, it was thick, warm, and crimson, like blood. The people screamed. They ran into their huts, trembling as the earth drank the red rain. The elders gathered in the temple, terrified. One whispered. That night, no one slept. Every roof echoed with the rhythm of the sky's tears. The wanderer. Decades later, when peace seemed to return, a stranger began to appear in the markets of Yoruba towns. A tall, thin man dressed in tattered royal cloth. His eyes were old, too old for his face. He carried a broken staff and a fragment of the shattered crown of Owu. He called himself Aidwol, the last son of Owu. He told stories to anyone who would listen. Stories of pride, betrayal, and loss. He warned chiefs and kings that no kingdom stands forever, that arrogance blinds even the mightiest rulers. Some laughed at him. Others gave him food, fearing his curse. But every time he left a town, something strange happened. A storm would rise, and the clouds would bleed again. The lesson of Owu. Generations passed. Children who had never seen Owu grew up hearing tales of its fall. They spoke of its beauty, its pride, its destruction, and the curse that followed. But with time, history softened the story. People called it a legend, a myth. Yet, on certain nights, when lightning danced and rain turned red, the elders would fall silent. They would look toward the west, where Owo once stood, and whisper, "Empires are not destroyed by enemies. They are destroyed by their own arrogance, their blindness, their silence when they should have spoken." Owo fell because it forgot humility. Its enemies fell because they forgot mercy. And so the sky became the only witness to truth. It wept not for Owo alone, but for every kingdom that would one day repeat its mistake. This isn't just a story about war. It's a story about power, pride, and the haunting echo of injustice. If history moves you, like, comment, and subscribe for more untold African stories they never taught in school. Headphone Episode 3 coming soon. The Wanderer and the Forgotten Kingdom.